It's recording now. Thank you for reminding me.
Welcome.
Okay, so this is the lab, and this is your DMZ zone, let's say. I'll take one more. That's 192.168.20.10. Okay. Okay. Now, guys, so what is the first thing to do is to log into the CLI of Palo Alto. The default username is admin and password is admin over here. I think it'll take some time, as usual, to start the services. You have to wait for a couple of minutes over here. In the meantime, you can switch on your virtual PCs. So if I want to assign the IP, it's virtual PC1, which is 192.168.20.10/24, and the default gateway will be my firewall's interface 20.50. Okay. So if I give the command show IP, I can see the IP is assigned already. Then I go to VPC3, IP 172.16.1.10/24 with the default gateway as 1.50. Show IP, and you have the IP assigned. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes over here. And guys, were you able to get the recording? Were you able to access the recording sessions?
I've not accessed it yet. Maybe over the weekend.
Okay. All right. So I have the access to the CLI now. So the first command is that you have to check the interface. So you give the command show interface management, and you see none of the interfaces are assigned. Okay. So next command is your configure set device config system type static. Okay. So basically defining that the system IP address has to be static instead of DHCP. Now I give the IP address with net mask as 255.255.255.0, and your default gateway would be 10.1.1.1. Now I have to save the config and commit. So once the commit is done, then we'll be able to take the GUI access of this firewall. So I'll try to log in now. Okay. Okay, guys. All right. Now we'll go basically step by step, and please do remember the packet flow of the Palo Alto firewall. All right. So first step, what I'll do, I'll configure the interfaces. Okay. So I have two interfaces, 1/1 and 1/2. Uh, so I'll go to my network interfaces. I have 1/1, 1/2. Okay. So 1/1, I'll define as layer 3. Now virtual route, I'll keep it default. Okay. Security zone. So I can actually create the zone from here, or I can go to the functional tab as well. So let's do the security zone over here. So 1/1 is my DMZ zone. So I'll say DMZ, click on OK. IP address of the firewall interface, that is 172.16.1.50. So 172.16.1.50/24. Okay. And interface management profile, I want to enable, so I'll keep a common profile so that I will only allow the ping. Okay. Now this, guys, you can see right now this is the IP address. All right. Now what I can do, actually I can actually if I go over here, so you can see over here it says what, address, right? That's an object. So for the Ethernet 1/2, I will use as I will define as using the object. So I can see what, let's say this side is your compute zone. Okay, this side. All right. So I'll take the name as compute default gateway, and I'll say as firewall interface IP. Okay. So I can do three things over here. I can define the actual IP and net mask. I can give a IP range, a subnet range, or I can define the as a FQDN. So right now I will do as a IP net mask. So what is my IP? It's 192.168.20.50. Okay, and /24, and click on OK. Guys, understood? So instead of directly assigning an IP to the interface, I'm going to call the object over there. An object, I've come back over here and define the IP. So I'll go back to my Ethernet 1/2. I'll make it as layer 3. I'll select as a default virtual router. Security zone. Which security zone, guys? Compute. Okay. Now IP, I can actually go here and you can see at the moment I click on add, the defined object popped up, right? So I can define the object over here like this. And I'm going to give a common profile interface management to allow the ping from the PCs to my default gateway, that is the firewall's interfaces.
Uh, Anupam, can we give range over here?
Yes, you can give three types. So if I go back over here, so you can
No,
see
in the normal, the other one.
where
In the other one, in the network thing.
you mean over here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you're creating
So
interface.
yes, so you can see right now this one I have not taken as /32. I've taken as /24.
Yeah, but can we create a range over here itself?
Range, it's like a pool.
Yeah, like pool of address.
So right now when you give /24, uh, it's just that you define subnet over here. Okay, that means what,
Oh
it
yeah, yeah.
becomes 172.16.1.0.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, I've saved my config right now, and I'll click on commit. Okay, so what is the first thing we did? We configure the interfaces. Now second will be to configure the VR or the virtual route. Now guys, when I click on virtual routers, so you can see there's a default virtual router already there. Now guys, take this virtual router is nothing, is your routing table. Guys, please excuse my handwriting, it's very bad, I know. Okay, if you're not able to understand, let me know, I'll just write in the capitals. Okay, so this is the routing table, of your firewall. Now when you click on the virtual route on the default one, you can see that you have two interfaces defined. Okay, this is the default. You have two interfaces defined, and these two interfaces are part of one routing table, your default routing table. Okay, so I can actually edit this, I can make this a default routing table. So these are the AD values that are defined to different routing protocols that you have. Then I'll go to static route. Okay, now do you think for this firewall, do I have to define any static route?
Yes, you do. If you're going out, also if you want to communicate with the two
So
different networks,
yeah, so let's say if I want to send, if I want to ping from compute to DMZ, so do I need a static route on this Palo Alto firewall?
it depends based on the zoning.
Yes, because it's in different networks. So
Yes, you do.
Okay, anyone
But the two
else?
the two interface are in the same routing table. So meaning that the 172.16.1 and the 192.168 should be in the same routing table. So I think they
So
should be able to talk
you don't need a static route. I
because the
think
routes are present.
I
Ex
think all you need is a
Okay,
kind
that's
of
true.
permission, a
Yeah,
profile that allows the communication
like
between two.
zoning and or security policy. That's all.
exactly, guys. I don't need routing because both of these are my directly connected routes. Okay, so this interface IP and this interface IP will be able to talk to each other depending on the security policy. If I want to allow the ping, but I don't need virtual route because they both are part of my this routing table. When you see the interfaces are part of your routing table, that means you don't need any static routing, a static route or any other routing protocols because that becomes a part of your directly connected routes. Okay, so let's go to
Makes sense.
policies. I'll click on security. Now, guys, when I click on security, you see that there are already two rules defined, predefined rules, right? So, what is the first rule says? It says what? Intra-zone default. Intra means same zone. That's why the action is what? Allowed. And your interzone means different zone. That's why the action is deny. Okay, clear, guys? Now,
So
if I
far,
okay, thank you. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a compute to DMZ traffic allow ping traffic. So I'll say compute to DMZ traffic allowed. Source zone will be my compute. Source address will be compute. Actually, 192.20.10. So 192.168.20.10. Okay. Destination will be my DMZ and destination address will be 172.172.16.1.20. 1.20, right? 1.10 actually. Okay. Application, I think. Uh, sorry, application actually. You can allow ping.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. An action will be allowed over here. You can see the actions. Okay, now action had different kinds: deny, allow, drop, recent, client, server. So I'll show you what different actions are. So right now we are just doing the basics, so let's understand it over here first. Now what I'll do, I'll click on save changes and I click on commit. Okay, so in the meantime it's committing. Let me go to my PC1. First of all, I'll try to ping to my default gateway. So can I ping? Yes. Okay, so guys, what is happening over here? I'm trying to ping from this PC to the default gateway. That is Palo Alto's interface. Okay, and why I'm getting this replies, because I have enabled what? Interface management profile. Understood?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll try to ping the other guy 172.16.1.10. Okay, so it's pinging. Now what I'll do, I'll go to my CLI over here. So session, sorry. So you can see it says what? No active sessions. So let me go back. Ping. Okay. So you can see the sessions right now. So let's say I can see the session right now, and I want to check a particular session. So I'll say the command is show session ID. Let's say 14. Okay. Now guys, let's understand this over here. So when I give the command show session 14, there's a session ID over here. Now this is what? Client to server flow. So what is the source over here? 20.10. That is coming from which zone? Compute. Okay. Destination is my 172.16.1.10, which is my DMZ. And right now this is the return traffic, that is server to client. Okay. So it says what? DMZ is trying to reply. This is my destination. Okay. All right. Now you can see right now, guys, over here, it is actually identifying what kind of application is being used. The application is ping, and it shows that which rule is also getting applied over here. That is compute to DMZ. If you remember, that's the same rule that we created. Okay. This is the ingress interface. This is the egress. So ingress will be 1/2. That's correct. Egress is 1/1. All right, guys. Any doubts till here, guys?
Good.
Okay. Now, will I be able to ping from from the other end? That means from DMZ to compute, guys. Will I be able to ping?
No, I don't think so.
I think because of the policy, you have to
Yes.
get because of the policy you only define one way policy, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
policy is unidirectional.
Yes. So it's not bidirectional. So what I have to do, I have to actually define one more policy. Okay. So if you want to, add, you can add, or else I can actually clone this. Okay. So when I click on clone of one rule, it'll ask you rule order. So after or before. Okay. So this is the same as in terms of your ACL, implicit denial at the bottom. So right now, if I select after rule compute to DMZ, I'll click on OK. So you can see the dash one, which with the rule which has dash one is the newly created. So I can actually go ahead and I'll say DMZ to compute. Source, I can actually add 172.16.20.1.10. Sorry. Destination will be your compute. Over 92.168.20.10. I think, yep. Okay, application is ping. Action allow. Click on OK. All right, so you can save and commit. And it's pinging. Guys, clear?
All clear.
Okay, so you can try this. This is one of the basic lab for your Palo Alto, which talks about only the layer 3 part of it. Okay.
Anupam,
Yes.
yeah, here in this condition, there is only one PC in the compute side, and there is one PC on the DMZ.
Yep.
If there are number of servers in the DMZ, can we put a range of addresses for the access?
Which access? You mean in the security policy?
Yeah, in a security policy. If there is like common security policy for all the servers.
Yeah, you can actually, but it is not recommended because as a security analyst or a, security engineer, you never allow a whole subnet. You always go on /32 basis. So
Okay.
you want to keep your network intact and more granular. You want to have more governance over it. So uh, in a live environment, we all add a /32 IP. That means we should know which traffic is going where. So we always enable the /32. In very rare cases, if your firewall and your business is aware that your network is secured already or that particular zone is secured, then you can actually go ahead and add the subnet. No issues on that.
Then what about in the compute side? If there are like number of PCs trying to access the same server,
Hmm.
can we put a range
Yes, you can put a
in?
range.
So how do we do that?
Similar. So over here, I have taken this. I can actually go ahead and make it as 192.168.20.0/24. Understood?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Or else you can define in the address or address group or region, whatever it is. So what is address group? Understood? You can actually add multiple addresses
Yes.
over here.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, so just give me a moment. Okay, so let me actually log out and I'll open a new lab.
So so in the Palo Alto, you can define many routing table, right? So you can separate your traffic like on the Cisco. Is that considered like a VRF?
Yes,
So,
exactly. That I
okay,
will show you right now. That is the main point.
okay,
Okay.
that's good.
So in Palo Alto, let me actually show it to you right away. There's only one new concept which I haven't seen in any other firewall. That means you can actually make different VRs communicate to each other. Okay. So how it works, let me actually explain it to you. So guys, so let's say you have your Palo Alto firewall over here, and this is your ISP, okay, and this is your Ethernet 1/1. This is your Ethernet 1/2, okay, and this is your Ethernet 1/3. All right, guys. So what you will do, you will take this as DMZ, and you will take this one as compute, and this is your internet. Okay, so I have seen, basically what, there are two ways you can define the routing table over here. So let's say if DMZ wants to go out to the internet and compute wants to go out to the internet. So what you will do, you will define in the virtual route, okay, you will, there are two ways. So first option is that in the virtual route, you will give a static default route towards your public interface, okay. And in the same virtual router, you will have your 1/3 and 1/2 as well as your directly connected. So let's say if DMZ wants to communicate to compute and compute wants to communicate to DMZ, it will be able to communicate. Depending also, obviously, on your security policy, it has to be there. And if DMZ wants to go out to the internet and compute wants to go out to the internet, it will follow the default route. Clear? Other second option is that you can define two VRs, VR1, VR2. That means virtual router 1 and virtual router 2. In virtual router 1, you will have 1/3 and 1/2 mapped, and in virtual router 2, you will have only 1/1 mapped. Okay. Now, when DMZ wants to communicate to compute and compute to DMZ, vice versa, they will use virtual router 1. Okay. And if DMZ wants to go out or computer wants to go out, what you will do? You will call this virtual router, you will try to map it to the virtual router second. Okay. And how to do that? I'll show you. It's a lab in a PBF and dual ISP, but I'll show you right now. If you go to network, you'll say virtual router. Okay. The static routes, guys, once you click on static routes, you can add static routes over here. Now, when I click on add, I can say, let's say a default route I want to give. Okay. So if I'm giving default route, I can make the destination as what? 0.0.0.0/0. That means default interface. Which interface? Exit interface, guys. Let's say 1/1. Now, guys, pay attention over here. Next hop is what I have. I have IP address, next VR. Okay. So the second option which I was talking about, actually, you can actually go ahead and define the second VR over here if you have the virtual instance. Getting my point, guys? I'm sorry, who has a question? Narcissus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the way you can actually, map one VR to communicate to another VR. I'll show you the practical when we are doing the PBF or the dual ISP. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense. That's good. It's actually make things simple.
Yes. Okay, so let me start one more lab quickly. Uh, okay, guys, so I'll just give you a brief idea about this lab. So this lab is more about to check on the static routing and the security policies, obviously on the application side. Okay. Now let me explain it to you what is happening there. So basically, guys, what I have done. This is the management portion of it. This is the management of the Palo Alto firewall, and this is my VMnet 1. Okay, which is 10.1.1.0 and used for taking the management access of the images of the firewall. Now over here, what I've done, guys, let's say if this is my home Wi-Fi over here somewhere, okay, and the IP of the home Wi-Fi is 192.168.1.0, and this side is my public IP. So what is my home Wi-Fi doing? It is converting, it is doing NAT towards the public. That means it is taking this as my source of private, and when the IP when I want to communicate to Google or anything on the internet, this becomes my then I mean this is doing the NAT towards the public. So my source IP gets converted to public over here and goes out to the internet. Now over here, what I have done, guys, let's say I have taken one VMnet 8 over here, which is the subnet 192.168.23.0, and it is running on DHCP. Okay, so what this VMnet 8 is doing, it is actually communicating directly to 192.168.1.1, and it is doing a NAT over here. That means whenever I send a packet from here, the source will be 23.0, and when it is going to hit 1.1, again the NAT is happening, and my source from 192.168.23.0 converts to 1.0, which goes out to the internet. Okay, so through this I will have access to the internet. Now on the router end, I have taken E0/0 and I've defined a DHCP IP. So it will request a DHCP IP from the VMnet 8. And over here, I have taken 20.0 subnet between Palo Alto and the router. My client is over here, which is 172.16.1.1. Okay. Now, overall, guys, what I want to do, I want to block YouTube and Facebook. So first of all, your first thing will be to define or configure the interfaces on your Palo Alto. Second thing is define the virtual route and your security policy on Palo Alto. Okay. The next thing is you configure your router. All right. So these three things. So I'll actually show you the configs over here. Let me log into the router first. I'm not sure whether I have saved the config or not. I don't think so. I've saved it. Let me see. I don't think I've saved it. Let me log into the Palo Alto. Admin. Um, Still starting. Show run. 1/0 is already on DHCP. Okay, I don't think there's any configuration. Show IP interface brief. So guys, you can see right now I'm getting what 23.141 for the DHCP server. So let me go ahead and define the interfaces. So E0/1, it's towards my Palo Alto. IP address I'll give as 192.168.20.10, 255.255.255.0, and I'll give no shut. Okay. Now so guys, any questions understanding this lab? Anyone? Because this lab we will refer.
One thing I don't understand, where is you getting a VMnet 8? Where's that coming from? I didn't quite understand the process. VMnet 8, where's that coming from?
VMnet 8 is coming from, so I think Narcis, Narcis, you can actually go and check the videos. I mean, once I'll send it to you and Elaine. So this is this is my VMnet 8.
Oh, it's on
Yeah, it's on the VM workstation. I mean, that's the way that you set up your environment, I think so. But in our end, I think we are using we have a server, so we are using a ESXi. That's fine.
Yes. And then that's fine. Yeah.
All right, let's see.
It's just the same cloud, and they put it in the management and all that stuff.
Okay. All right, that makes sense now.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So anyone else? Anyone else, guys? Anyone else has any questions or difficulty in understanding the lab? I'll explain it again.
No, I mean, I'm good. We just want to see what is happening or what will happen.
Okay. Fine, guys. So let me go to my router. Show IP interface brief. My router configuration is done. Now, okay, hold on. Let me configure the Palo Alto as well. Then we'll come back to router. Show interface management. Awesome. So let me go to my 10.1.1.100. Admin. Okay. All right, guys. So this is your console GUI. Now, guys, I think I have the interface assigned already. So I'll just confirm. Ethernet 1/1 layer 3 management profile common. Obviously, that's for ping. And security zone is LAN. IP address is 1.100. So 1/1 secured. The zone is LAN zone over here on the left hand side. Layer 3 and common profile. 1/2 will be 20.20, which is towards the WAN. So it has the WAN zone. Clear, guys? Let's move to virtual route. Okay, let's see the virtual route. So is there any static route? There is a static route default. So, it says what? It says that if I want to reach to any destination towards the internet, I have a default route. Okay. And the egress interface is 1/2. And next off, I have given none over here. Okay. You can give IP address also, but I have given none. So, your interface virtual router is done. The last will be your security. Okay. So actually, let me delete this so that we have a better understanding. And let me delete this as well. Okay. So let me create a new security policy. I'll say I want to go from LAN to WAN. Source zone actually will be LAN, right? So I'm going from LAN to WAN.
And from inside to outside.
Yeah. And WAN address I've kept as any, application any, default actions allow. Okay. Now, guys, over here, there's one more issue right now. I'll show you the issue. So, guys, let's say if I'm pinging, this is my 8.8.8 server sitting over here somewhere. So, guys, when I'm pinging from this client to 8.8.8.8, so let's see the traffic flow. So, for the PC, hold on. So, this is your 8.8.8.8. Now, for the PC, the source and the destination. Okay. So when the PC sends the ping to 8.8.8, what's the source over here? 172.16.1.1. Destination will be 8.8.8.8. Okay, so this packet goes to Palo Alto firewall. Okay, now firewall checks. Do I have reachability to 8.8.8? Yes, I have a default route. Okay, so I'll send it to 1/2. Clear? Clear? So when it's forwarding 1 to 1/2, again, IP will be 1.1. Destination is same. Now when the router gets the packet, okay, it checks both. So does the router know about 172? No. Does the router know about 8.8? I will find it right now. I'll ping 8.8.8.8. Yes, I can reach. Okay. if I ping from the source interface, sorry, source Ethernet 0/0 and source Ethernet 0/1, I'm able to reach. Okay, so that means what? Your router, both interfaces, they are aware of the destination. Oh god. Okay, but the router is not aware of the source. So either you do a route over here, static route for the return and for the forward, or there's one more option, you can do a NAT on Palo Alto. Okay, now over here comes the NAT options or NAT topic. Now guys, in Palo Alto you have source NAT and as well as your destination NAT. Destination NAT we are not touching now. I'll show you destination NAT in a different example or different lab. Now we'll understand what is source NAT. So let's say in this kind of scenario, guys, whenever I want to, forward the packet out of this, Palo Alto. So when the 170 goes out from the firewall, if I NAT this, okay, if I tell if I configure in Palo Alto firewall that you have to NAT this IP to this IP, that means what? This gets converted to 192.168.20. So the router when it receives the packet, it says what the source IP is 192.168.20 and the destination is 8.8.8.8. So router will see, yes, I do have route towards my, the destination is reachable and the source is my directly connected. So I will be able to send the packet back. Any questions, anyone?
So are you nothing to what's it called, to this interface of 1/2, right?
Yes, I'm natting it too actually. So I'm natting 172.16.1.0 to 192.168.20.0.
Okay, .0. So the whole network.
Yes. As of now, I understand whole network, but I'll do it specific IP.
Okay, then no problem then. Mm.
Okay, so we'll see the application to this, guys. Anyone else who has questions? Is it understandable or confusing? You can just let me know. I'll explain it again, guys.
Can I configure static
So which
from
mean
Ethernet 1/2 to router to Ethernet?
Sorry, Sudesh. Alan, I'll just get back to you. Sudesh, could you please repeat your question?
Can we configure static route instead of creating NAT inside the Palo Alto to the router?
Sudesh, your voice is not audible. It's very low, bro.
What I'm asking is, can we create a static route between Palo Alto and R2 instead of NAT?
So if I create a static route between Palo Alto and router, so what your static route will say on Palo Alto?
It can say the next hop as 192.168.20.10.
Okay, fine. What is the network? Destination
Network
network.
is same 172.6. Okay. Destination network
So
0.0.0.0 we can give.
okay, and next up is this, right? So you're saying that so that is not static, that is default route, correct?
Yeah.
You want to have a
Yeah.
default route 0.0.0.0 pointing towards next stop IP 92.20.10, right?
Yeah. Can we do that?
It's already there.
I think it's already done, right?
Yes, it's already there. So
Yeah.
there's what is happening over here. If I it's already there, but this is not serving the purpose of this IP. So when the router gets the IP source as 172, it doesn't have the route in its routing table. Okay, so if I
Yeah.
show you the routing table of R2, show IP route. So you can see right now there's no 172. Okay, so what I can do, either you define a static route towards Palo Alto and towards the other side, or else you can do a NAT. So simple ways to configure a NAT.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Alan, could you please repeat your question?
No, I was saying that I think I have two questions. All right, so previously you defined the static default out on Palo, right?
Yep.
So instead to use a next hop, you did none. So does it make any difference than use a next hop or just to specify none as you did?
So
What's the difference?
the difference is same. Let's say you have Palo Alto firewall. You have, let's say, two ISPs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, two networks. Okay, so if I'm giving
Mm-hmm.
next hop, I'm defining what? The IP address,
IP.
and
Mm-hmm.
when I'm giving exit interface, I am actually calling the exit interface with the IP as none, or the category is none. So if I go over here in my Palo Alto network virtual route default static routes, so you can see right now, I have configured using the exit interface.
Right.
You have
Mm-hmm.
an option to give the next hop as well. Okay, so
Yeah, yeah, I
again,
understand, but I was asking this, what's the difference? Because I mean, if we point it to the next sub, which is the router, that would work, right?
yeah, that also works. I mean, there's no difference. If you want to be more specific, you can give the defined IP address, or you can just say
Okay.
none and give the exit interface.
All right.
Okay, so let
Uh,
me go to. I'm sorry. Yeah, you go ahead. You
no, I
have the
thought that
second
there was a
question.
preference. That's fine. Mhm.
Okay. You have any other questions?
No, I think the other question was about the NAT, but that's fine.
Nat, I will
How
show
the
you right.
Palo,
I will show you. Hold
yeah,
on.
the Palo will not a private to private address. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you. Okay. So this is, guys, you have to understand again, the traffic flow. Remember here that I have done the LAN to WAN security policy. I've allowed only zone that is LAN to WAN. Okay.
The one. Mm-hmm.
And the application default, that means which is, the application which is recognized by Palo Alto, and the actions allowed. Now let's go to NAT. Let me delete this. Okay. So let's go to NAT. What is our the target over here? The criteria is that I have to NAT 172 to 192 168. Okay, just simple logic. So I'll say NAT for WAN traffic. Now guys, what is the original packet? So the original packet, when it comes to Palo Alto, the source will be what? Your LAN zone, and the IP is 172, right? So you define the source zone as your LAN, okay?
LAN. Mm-hmm.
Destination as going to WAN, and
Mm-hmm.
destination interface is your 1/2.
Yeah, the one facing the outside. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, when you get this original packet, which has source zone as LAN, which is destined to destination zone as WAN, and the interface is 1/2. Sorry. So you have to do a translation.
Correlation. Okay.
So there are two kinds of translation over here: source address and destination address. So right now we are just concerned about source. So I can do again dynamic IP input, that is PAT, dynamic IP, that is your NAT pool, and static NAT. Let's do a PAT over here. I want to convert the address to an interface. Which interface? 1/2. What's the IP I want to convert it to? 20.20. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
I click on OK. I click on Save Changes. Then I click on Commit. Now I'll log into my PC over here. This is test PC. I'll check the IP config. Okay, so IP is already there, which is 172.16.1.1. I'll try to ping my default gateway, that is 162.16.1.100. That is the Palo Alto. I see that I'm getting replies, and I'll try to ping 8.8.8.8, which is my internet. Okay, yes, I'm able to reach internet. Okay. Now, guys, when I am doing this internet thing, when you are also practicing this lab, please go to network connections, local area connections, properties, IP. You have to define the DNS. Okay, please don't forget to do that. So you define the static IP and you define the DNS as well, primary and secondary. Okay, so let me try to browse any website over here. So I'll try to open the Facebook page. Yep, it's opening, right? And I'll try to open YouTube. It's opening. Yes. Clear, guys? Now let's say if I want to block YouTube and Facebook specifically, but my other traffic should be fine. That means where's my okay. So let's say if I want to
Anupam.
yep. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Can we see the NAT translation in our firewall?
Yes, you will be able to see.
Okay.
I'll show you. Hold on. So what I was saying? Yeah, okay. So let me go ahead and try to open one more website. Let's say Nova Solutions or google.com. Actually, let me open Bing. Okay. Okay. So right now, what is happening? My target is to block YouTube and Facebook. Before I do that, let me go ahead and let me create a rule. Okay. Now, guys, understand over here. Now, what's the sequence right now? The sequence is right now that I am allowing LAN to WAN. Source is zone is LAN, destination is WAN, and traffic is allowed. Okay. Now, guys, if I create a rule that says to block
So
you, sorry.
can I beg you real quick? So which means the return? Okay, so if I understand, the return traffic does not need to be inspected. So we don't need a rule for the return traffic.
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
So is it like is it a stateful firewall?
It's a stateful firewall. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, I want to block YouTube and Facebook. I'll create a rule. I'll say any traffic which goes from LAN to WAN and application if it's using Facebook or YouTube, I want to deny it. Now, tell me from your understanding, this rule that I have over here, this should be placed before rule number 1 or after rule number 1?
I think it should be before.
Before.
Yes, before, guys, correct. Because if I place it after, that means what? It's the same thing again like your ACL. If you match the traffic and the criteria of your rule, if it's applied, it won't look for other rules down. Okay, so that's why I have to place it before. So same thing, I'll select this clone. I'll say before rule LAN to WAN. Click on OK. First rule is over here. Click on that. I'll check it as block rule for YouTube and Facebook. So same decision, same application, guys, over here. So application, if I type in Facebook, so you can see right now, guys, you have so many things. You can either block an application or sub application like Facebook chat, mail, base, apps, social plugin, posting, everything. So let's block Facebook. And I will block YouTube as well. So I'll say YouTube. Okay. Service, nothing. Action will be, guys, I will try to deny.
Drop. Is it not?
Yeah, let's do deny over here. So I'll deny. I'll click on commit. Close. Not close. Let me see if it's committed or not. Okay, it's completed. So I'll go to my test machine. I'll try to open Facebook again.
It's probably cached.
Yeah, I think I have to close this browser and reopen. So I'll try to open the Facebook. Okay, there you go. It's blocked. Now just check over here that if I want to open YouTube, it's still opening. Okay, but Facebook is blocked, guys, but YouTube is still opening. Now there's a catch over here, guys. I have to modify this rule. Okay, what I have to modify? Now you have to block for any Google website, your Google base. Okay, so if I do this, if I block the Google base, that means YouTube uses Google base as an application over here. So then only your YouTube will be blocked completely. So if I close YouTube and reopen again, so you can see right now the YouTube is blocked. Okay,
So which mean,
Why? Why is that? Is that YouTube? YouTube depend on Google. YouTube belongs to Google, or what? I don't understand this.
we don't
So,
know. Yeah, YouTube belongs to Google.
okay. So, and what about? Can you Google? Can you go to Google?
If I have blocked Google, Google won't work.
So, is there any way we can block
that's the
specifically
problem.
YouTube?
Yes,
Because
you can actually. So what you have to do, this is actually, this is not a licensed version, so you don't have an update. So if I go ahead and do an software update and dynamic updates, which has the applications filters and app ID distribution, so you can actually go ahead and define that. So once you do that, you will see more app updates, and through that, you don't have to only block, I mean, you can actually block the actual application, not the whole base.
Okay, so which mean to make a story short is because of the license base that you run it on this version.
Correct. I'm
Period,
running
right?
just on a default version, which has no
Right.
updates. Yeah, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, that's to just make an assist to understand that what is happening. I mean, you have specified Google because of the license.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, one more thing, guys. Let's say if I'm pinging the DNS over here and I'm getting replies. Okay. Now, if I want to see the traffic over here, the NAT traffic, so you give the command source session all. Okay, so you can see right now. Can you see this Google base SSL, OSCP Google base, Yahoo Google base SSL? So I'm searching for the ping traffic, which is not showing up because I've stopped the ping, I think. Let me do a clear session all source session. Okay, so let me stop the ping over here and we'll see the session ID. Show session ID 40. Now, who asked about the NAT thing?
Myself.
Aditi, right?
Okay.
Okay, so you can see right now the source is 172.16.1.1, which is going to destination, and the returning traffic is coming from 8.8.8 at the destination, that is, and towards the source, that is 20.20. And your what happened? And your firewall is doing the NAT. So you can see over here it says what? NAT rule, NAT to WAN. Rule, security policy rule, LAN to WAN. Okay, this is for the ping traffic, guys. If I see the traffic which is towards my Google base or Facebook, I will see the rule as different, which will have a different rule. Clear, guys? Any doubts, anyone understanding this lab? It's a very interesting lab. You can actually practice, do your R&D on this lab. Basically you can practice your L3 and application levels.
Yes.
So any problem, guys? Anyone? Any questions? Any?
No,